So our first example is for naming angles, and it says a lighthouse keeper measures the angles formed by the lighthouse at point M in 3 boats. Name the 3 angles shown in the diagram. So what you're going to do is go ahead and pause right here, see if you can name the angles, and then come back. And when you come back, then I will tell you what the angles are. Okay, so here are the 3 angles. First you have angle JMK. So that's angle JMK. Then you have angle KML. So that's going to be angle KML. And then lastly, you have the big angle, which is angle JML. So we'll say angle JML. Now, one thing that you cannot do in this particular image is you may not have any angle that is angle M. I'm going to say that again. You may not have any angle that is angle M. Well, why can't you have an angle that's angle M? If you notice, all of these angles have a vertex of M. So if I say, hey, that's angle M, which angle would I be talking about? We don't know, right? So when you have multiple angles that have the same vertex, you may not name the angle by the vertex. You have to name the angle by a point on each ray in the vertex. Or if there were like a 1 here and a 2 here, then JMK could be angle 1 and KML could be angle 2. So that would be an option if that was given to you. Okay, moving on. What is a protractor? A protractor helps you approximate the measure of an angle. The measure is usually given in degrees, and in this class we will work in degrees. And most protractors have an inner and an outer scale, so when measuring you have to make sure that you are using the correct scale. So card number 14 is a protractor postulate, and it says, consider AB and a point on one side of AB. The rays that form OA can be matched 1-to-1 with the real numbers from 0 to 180 degrees. So the measure of angle AOB, which is written with an M to signify measure of angle OAB, is equal to the absolute value of the difference between the real numbers matched with OA and OB. So essentially the difference between this ray and this ray. So if I look at this particular angle here, I would say that the measure of angle AOB is equal to 140 degrees. Now, how do I know that it's 140 degrees? Okay, so when I'm looking at my rays, I see that I have this ray, which is a portion of a line that goes over to my right. So this ray is at 0. Okay, and so if we're looking at this ray going to my right, it is at 0. So we will be reading the numbers on the bottom because it will get larger as it goes this way, because it's at 0. Now, if by chance we had, let's say, this ray going like this, then we would look at the top to get larger going this way, because 0 would be over here on our left. So it just really depends on where you open your angle, or which way you open your angle, so that you know which way you're going. So if I had this blue line here and it matched it with this angle here, then let's put a point on there. Let's call this C. Then I could say that the measure of angle AOC would be 40 degrees. So you have to pay attention to the way your angle opens to determine whether or not you're going to use the top or the bottom on the protractor. So what are the different types of angles? We have an acute angle, which measures greater than 0 degrees and less than 90 degrees. We have a right angle that measures 90 degrees. We have obtuse angle, which measures greater than 90 and less than 180. And then we have a straight angle, which measures 180 degrees. Please make sure that you note that a right angle is 90 degrees exactly. It is not 90.1 or 90.2 or 90.0000001. It is 90 degrees. And so then anything less would be acute. Anything greater would be 180, or anything greater would be up to 180. And then 180 degrees would be a straight angle or a straight line. So now I would like you to take a moment to try to figure out the measures of these angles. You might have to zoom in a bit because they are small. And then once you have tried, then come back and we will do them together. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in. See if it's going to let me. All right, so I'm zooming in, and so let's look at the first one. So let's do three things. We're going to measure the angle, talk about the classification of the angle, and then name the angle. So the first thing I want to do is look at this angle. I can look and see that it is greater than 90 degrees. So I'm going to say that it is obtuse. And then I need to name the angle and talk about the measure of the angle. So this angle is going to be angle LMN. And so the measure of angle LMN, and it's kind of hard to read, but I know this is 90. So 100, 110, 120 degrees. Okay, because our angle opens this way. So if it opens this way, then we're reading the numbers that are on the bottom. Okay, for the second one, again, this is going to be an obtuse angle because 90 degrees is here and it's opening this way, so it's greater than 90. So when I look at it, I know this is 90, 100, 10, 20, 30, 40. So we're going to call this one angle XYZ. And so the measure of XYZ is equal to 140 degrees. Okay, let's look at the next one. So this one I can see is less than 90 degrees. So I'm going to say that this one is acute. And I'm going to call this one angle ABC. So the measure of angle ABC is going to be 10 degrees. And then lastly, I know that this one is also acute. It's less than 90 degrees. I'm going to call this angle UVW. So the measure of angle UVW is going to be 45 degrees. So I hope these made sense and that you got them all correct.